And Victoria was like, how did that happen? but my favorite one was when Jeff said he loved Les Brown. And Jeff had did so much for me. I was like, well, that's all I need to do. I said, and he was just like, do you know who my favorite person is? And I said, oh, he said Les Brown, and Les was in town. And so I said, well, let's go meet him. Yeah, big, huge speaker. He said, let's go meet him. I said, okay. So we went to the hotel, and I said, Jeff, stop by and get a cookie and put on there, we want more Les, right? And so Jeff comes in with this, you can see this big cookie walking in, and people are like looking at us. And so I walked to the desk and said, Les Brown, said, do you know where he is? He's like, I don't know. I think he went that way. And then another lady said, no, he's having breakfast. So I said, come on. Jeff goes, what are we doing? I said, come on, Jeff. So we walk up, and he's walking like a little kid like this. And so Les is sitting by himself, right? And I walk over and I said, Les, I said, I hate to interrupt your breakfast, but really, your really, really number one fan is right over there. So Les looks, he goes, yeah, and this is Jeff. like a little kid at Christmas time. And I said, he said, tell him to come over. And then he goes, come over. And Jeff just slowly walks up, and we had breakfast.
And I did the I'm not worthy.
Yeah, we did. And we had breakfast with Les Brown. And to this day, I still have Les's number in my phone.
Wow. And then I had Les on Zoom maybe 4 years ago. Les was on my show, and I said, Les, you won't remember this.
Did he remember?
He was like, not a lot of people have been down and I do remember you.
Yeah.
I did not call security on you.
Yeah. But you know what? That's the story to who this man is. That is why this company is the way it is, because he really cares about people, and he believes that every person has a story, and it should be told in an excellent way. And so he created the space and place for people like me who don't have a huge budget, but I can still be behind the camera, make myself look good to the world, right? And then the world comes in. And if you're trying to raise money, we both know media is how I raise money for media. You know, I started with the first and last month's rent, and now 17 years later, we've done 31 million meals and counting. But I've used media everywhere I go. I was like, you know, what can the world see? And when the world sees good, they want to be around the good. And Jeff and Real PR News, they spread the good. Oh, you spread the good news. Look at that.
Amen. Oh, that's so sweet.
She has a book that is just going crazy right now.
I am. I'm like number 20. So Jeff, when he did his book, I was like, this man is selling his books everywhere he goes. So I had a contract, but then I decided to self-publish my own book. It came out on 9/11 because he says be intentional with media. So I'm like, we're in the state of emergency for leadership. So it's called The Power of Action, Leadership Stories from the Front Line. And it's an interactive book. At the front of every chapter, there's a QR code. You waiting for me?